Welcome back. Tennessee Titans tight end. Try to say that 3 times fast. It's a real tongue twister. But Delanie Walker, who is the Tennessee Titans tight end, is as smooth as he can be. Last year, the 10-year veteran had more receptions and more receiving yards than any Titans tight end in franchise history. But of course, those accolades pale in comparison to his efforts off the field, which are literally saving lives. Here's a look at Delanie Walker's amazing story.
Every NFL player will tell you they didn't get there by themselves, and Delanie Walker is no exception. His mother raised him and his brother on her own and has been the family's rock since day one.
I always talk about my mom anywhere I go because she is the backbone to my success, and I accomplished a lot of goals because of her always supporting me and leading me in the right direction.
For his mother's tireless efforts, Delanie was determined to return the favor through his own childhood dream.
I think I was 16 years old at the time, and I said, "Mom, one day I'm playing in the NFL, you ain't gonna have to work no more." And that day came, and she always tell that story.
Delanie's dream would come true when he was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in 2006. As an undersized tight end and a 6th-round pick out of Central Missouri, Delanie wasn't the highest-touted player in the draft. But what he lacked in stature, he made up for in heart. What mattered was that he'd arrived and fulfilled his promise to his mother.
It brings tears to her eyes because she couldn't believe that I told her that and actually went through and made it to college and actually got drafted.
6 years after being drafted, Delanie's NFL career would culminate at the biggest spectacle in all of sports, with 2 of his biggest supporters in attendance.
In 2013, I played in the Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers in New Orleans. My aunt and uncle, they were big supporters, and they came out. We had a great time. I took them out and showed them basically how NFL players live, took them to restaurants, let them see people chant our names, and took them on the field for practice and behind the scenes, and they just had a blast. They loved it. It was something that, you know, they always wanted to do.
But on the night of Super Bowl 47, just hours after the game ended, a weekend that began with so much happiness would end in heartbreak.
That night was ending, and my auntie and uncle were tired. They wanted to go home. So they got in their car and jumped on the freeway, and then that morning they were hit by a drunk driver, over 100 miles per hour. They were rear-ended, and they died. After I heard the news, Super Bowl was just a fade memory. It didn't act like it never existed. Basically, you want me to talk about the Super Bowl? It's no point.
But the memory of his aunt and uncle would never fade, and the tragedy that once haunted Delanie began to fuel him. In the years since the accident, he's become a spokesman for the organization MAD, which stands for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And this past summer, Delanie shared his message alongside NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell at MAD's National Conference in Washington, D.C.
Sadness motivated me to speak, to prevent this from happening, and that's why I have a big hand in MAD. Basically, I go and I try to speak to the younger generation about drinking and driving and why it's not a good thing. And my mission is to try to prevent that. I'm just thankful to have that opportunity to be able to speak among so many great people that's a part of MAD, and then also to have Roger Goodell there to speak about it as well and understand the movement. It just means a lot to me. Basically, it's about my family, and it's about preventing other people from harming other people.
Coming up, Delanie Walker lends a helping hand in his local community by setting a meaningful example for underprivileged kids in Nashville. And then, Allie LaForce hits the mecca of video game conventions to discover the science behind some of this year's newest titles.
Delanie Walker spent the first 7 years of his career as a backup tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. But now, in his 3rd season with the Titans, Walker is not only a starter, but an integral part of the offense. And in 2014, he had more receiving yards than any tight end in franchise history.
When I played with the 49ers, I was fulfilled. You know, I felt like I had helped that team out a lot, but being with the Titans, I think it's just, my plate is even bigger now, you know, so a lot of people expect more out of me here being with the Titans. You know, I'm up to the challenge.
Delanie is up to the challenge in the local community as well. In 2014, he started the Delanie Walker Gives Back Foundation. Its mission, to give low-income children educational opportunities and resources. And at Lighthouse Christian School just outside of Nashville, he's doing so with a backpack giveaway which provides school supplies to kids from the inner city.
I see myself when I was a kid growing up in a similar community that I try to help with a single-parent household, mom working 2 jobs, not being able to buy us everything we need or put the amount of food that we wanted on the table, and she had to work very hard to do that. So I come in basically trying to help these parents by giving them their kids the small things.
I loved watching the looks on the kids' faces as they filled their backpacks. So many needs that sometimes these young people have, and they're not sure how they're going to meet those needs when you go to school. So to be able to have those needs met is really special.
Delanie stresses education because he knows that small things such as school supplies can lead to big things in life.
School meant a lot to me because for me to play sports, I had to excel in school. So it was always important for me to make sure that I was able to play sports by having good grades. Me to having good grades was going to lead to me getting a scholarship.
Mr. Delanie Walker!
Also in attendance are children from the Family Foundation Fund, which provides guidance to boys growing up without fathers, something that Delanie can relate to firsthand.
It was tough growing up without a father. I always tell people this, my mom was both. You know, she was strict, but she was also the mother. She showed us how to be tough, but also to have a kind heart. So me and my foundation, I try to go out there in the community and talk to these kids and show them what a real role model look like. Learning is the key to my success, and why I'm so accomplished and where I ended up is because I went to school, got good grades, was able to get a scholarship because I had good grades, and now I'm playing in NFL.
Having Delanie come out again as another example and role model of these young people about what it looks like to have men who will step in their lives and say, I care about you.
Whether it's saving lives through a platform like MAD or changing lives in his local community, Delanie Walker is clearly making a difference.
Because all we want to do, if you see the parents, the coaches, the teachers, we just want to see you guys make it. Have the opportunity to change lives and do what you like to do. And that's why I'm here.
Delanie shared his story today and came from a tough background, and yet he overcame those obstacles in life and those challenges that he faced. And I think it gives these kids great hope.
For us to have this opportunity and people to back us, why not go back to the community and put smiles on these kids' faces? It makes me open up my eyes and say, this is why I do what I do.
For more NFL content, visit NFLRush.com.
Up next, we're rolling out the red carpet to the most exclusive gaming event of the year, where entertainment and technology collide. Game on.